Alright, welcome back everyone. It's David, aka Fairmere4731. We're going to talk about government types in this video. Alright, so in this video we're going to talk about a couple different topics. Number one is, what are the different types? What do they mean? Which one is the best? Number two, how do you change your government type? Alright, so let's get into it. Alright, so if we're looking at number one, let's go ahead and look at the government types, and the first one is going to be absolute monarchy. Okay, so what is absolute monarchy? Now, there are a few advantages to having an absolute monarchy, and one of them would be you can freely change your ministers. So if they suck, you can switch them out from your candidates and completely change them until you get the person you want, and that way you can have a really good cabinet very quickly. So that is one definite benefit to absolute monarchy. Now, another benefit to it is you do get a bonus of +2 to your nobility class, alright? But there is also a negative in that. You get a -2 happiness to the lower class, and that can be huge. That's why absolute monarchy will give you a lot of public order problems. One other thing is that you're going to get a recruitment cost of -5% for land units. So that's going to help you on building your troops. So that's also another positive. Now let's go ahead and get into two more pretty big negatives for absolute monarchy. That will be your town wealth growth is a -5. So it's very hard for your towns to grow wealth in an absolute monarchy. So that's something to highly consider, which will cause you a lot of income problems. Alright, so the next major negative is you're going to have a -10% for your research rate. So your research is going to slow down as an absolute monarchy. Alright, so in our next type of government that we're going to talk about is going to be constitutional monarchy. Yes, another monarchy, but this one is quite different from absolute monarchy. So one thing I think I forgot to mention in your absolute monarchy is you get 5 for repression in your regions. Now with a constitutional monarchy you only get a 3 for repression. Now as far as changing out your cabinet ministers, you can see you can't just drag and move them over. So it's going to take you each turn to be able to switch somebody. So you got to pick your worst cabinet member to try to get rid of them, and you'll pull from people not outside of your opposition. To change to the opposition, you can hold an instant election, and that will help give you, based on how they vote, will change the next election. But in the process of your next election term is 9 more turns. You can see every 10 turns you will have an election, so it's based on the popularity of those candidates if they're re-elected. Alright, so now on a constitutional monarchy you will have a couple things that are very nice positives. Number one is you will have a +1 to your noble class and also a +1 to your lower class. So versus a absolute monarchy, which gives you -2 for the lower class, you actually get a +1. So that is a huge thing for helping you with public order down the road when you're taking regions. The other big thing as far as your policies are concerned will be you actually get a -25% on clamor for reform. Now in the absolute monarchy you don't get any of that. Now let's talk economy with your constitutional monarchy. You actually get a +5 wealth growth versus -5 for the absolute. So that's a huge difference right there. It's a 10-point swing, and absolute monarchy definitely will drive your economy down versus constitutional monarchy is going to help your economy if you're wanting to go with a monarchy. Alright, so the last type of government type we'll be talking about is anarchy. I'm just kidding. It's actually republics. So with a republic, there is a couple major differences to monarchies. Now, the first of, you get effects of clamor for reform is going to be minus 80%. Man, that is huge. That is absolutely huge. Now, your repression is going to be actually 2, so that's the lowest of all them. But with the clamor for reform being minus 80%, that really makes a huge difference as you're building your empire, if you will. Now, as far as other policies, your middle class happiness, because you're not going to have an upper class, you're going to have a middle class, you actually get +1, and lower class happiness, you're going to get a +3. So that's going to help you a great deal with your public order as well. Alright, and as far as research and technology, you're actually going to get a +5% research increase for being a republic. Now, as far as your ministers go, every 8 turns or every 4 years, you will face elections. So you face the possibility of change out your cabinet members quite frequently. You can also hold an instant election, and that will also change your cabinet as well. And that is based on taking people from your opposition when you do elections. So this is your opposition right here at the bottom, and that's who would replace your cabinet, versus if you kick somebody, you get somebody from outside. It's not going to come from the opposition with the republic, or either for a constitutional monarchy as well. Alright, so that brings us to the second part of this video, which is going to be, how do you change the government types? So that is actually pretty easy to do. It just takes a few turns. So if you're an absolute monarchy such as Prussia, you're going to want to piss off the lower class. So you're going to raise the taxes on them, and you can lower it on your nobility. In this case, we can leave it the same because they are still in the red. And then you go to your other regions in that theater, so Europe being, and we're going to exempt them from taxes. Looks like we might be able to get away with leaving them alone. Then you're simply going to end the turn and do that for 3 turns and piss off the people. So that's
in this region due to high taxation of the lower orders.
They're already getting pissy in Brandenburg, and that's a good sign. So just 2 more turns and we should have ourselves a rebellion.
As the lower orders.
Alright, so they're still getting pissy, which is a good thing. So we are finished with 2 turns, and this is a crucial turn. There's a couple things we're going to have to do now before we end this turn. Okay, the first of which is we're going to need to move our army. We're going to need to get it away from our capital region, so let's see what we can do in that regard. Either Saxony will give us a, we'll see if we can get military access with them. If so, that's the best case scenario. Let's see if they'll take it. They do not. So let's try some different things. Okay, so I'm going to try and get a trade agreement, military access, and all that. We'll see if they take it. They do not. Alright, so the next best scenario is to go with Hanover. So let's see if we can get that. And we do. Alright, so we're going to take our army and move it over to Hanover, so we can get them out of the way. That way we won't be facing that army. I'm going to get rid of this guy too.
Lone revolution.
Alright.
Your only option.
So, it has worked. We have a revolution. So, basically, if you side with the government, it's going to be status quo. Siding with the rebels means that you will turn into a republic. So let's go ahead and get that done. And we'll just auto-resolve. Victoire. So, now we have changed into a republic. So the German Republic exists. So now you can see that we are the republic indeed. Our ministers are as such. And again, you're going to face a little more difficulty as far as getting your cabinet into place with the Republic when you first start off. But anyways, so does that mean that we are finished with government changing? No, it does not. Let's get into this a little deeper, a little further, if you will. So, what if we wanted to be an constitutional monarchy? So the only way to do that, when we started as Prussia, we were a absolute monarchy. So to change to constitutional, we had to go through this change to be a republic, and now we got to switch to being a constitutional monarchy. So let's go ahead and get that done. Well, I can tell you first thing what I'm going to get done is get rid of these troops. Don't need them. This guy, don't need him either. Alright, so let's go ahead and move our army back over to Berlin, just simply because we are going to want to keep the Austrians at bay. Now our policies, we're going to want to switch our lower class to being happy, and we want to piss off the middle class to switch to a monarchy again. So you can see how we're both red now. Alright, and seeing how they're both red, we're going to want to change East Prussia and exempt it from taxes. That'll keep them happy. So let's go ahead and end that turn and see what happens.
In classes is affecting the wealth of this region.
So far so
this
good.
Is bad for your economy.
One turn down. We still got to get through 2 more turns. So let's go ahead and piss off the people some more. Alright, so that being said, let's go ahead and end the turn again.
As the lower
Alright, so
too unhappy.
2 turns down. And they have broke a building. Unfortunately, it's a school, so let's go ahead and repair that. Alright, so now we're at that pivotal second turn. We got to get our army back over to Hanover. So let's do that. And next turn we'll get the rebellion. So again, it's always first turn you piss them off, second turn they break stuff and revolt, and then the third time they do a riot, then they do the revolution on the third turn. So let's get to the third turn.
Full-blown revolution.
Here we are. Let's shut her up. Alright, so we are going to side with the rebels. We don't want to side with the government. That would keep us a republic. So let's side with the rebels. Looks like Sweden has attacked. Yeah, we'll go ahead and enter on the side of our ally as well. So here we are back at the rebellion stage. Alright, so and there you go. That's how you become a constitutional monarchy, as you can see here. And your ministers, again, every 10 turns or every 5 years, you will have to, you can do each election, or you can't do, it automatically does an election, or you can do instant elections to change your cabinet from the opposition, or kicking will bring in somebody from outside the opposition. So, speaking of kicking, I hope you had a kick and enjoyed this video. If you did, please go ahead and leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe, as it does help the channel, and also you will keep you informed of anything coming up in the future for our channel.